The watch stopped at 3:17. Not slowed, not damaged, not even cracked at the time. It just stopped. I remember because that was the exact second the sky over Denver turned white. Not bright, just empty, like someone erased a piece of reality and forgot to fill it back in. The kind of white that makes sound feel distant and your bones feel hollow. I kept the watch. Not for sentiment. I don't do that. Most of what I had from before the war got burned, traded, or left behind in places I don't plan on revisiting. But the watch stayed. It never ticked again, never moved, never did anything except sit on my wrist like it was waiting for something. Or counting down to something. Years later, I stopped asking which. Hey Hale, you spacing out again, or is that just your face now? I didn't look up. Both. The cockpit of the Wayfarer smelled like overheated wiring and stale coffee. Standard issue for a ship that had outlived 3 owners and at least 2 honest maintenance cycles. Outside the viewport, the Epsilon drift stretched out like a graveyard. Broken hulls, silent debris, things that used to matter. Now they were just salvage. Emily Ross leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, tablet tucked under one elbow. We've got something. That's what we always say, I muttered. No, she said. This is different. That got my attention. I pushed myself out of the pilot's chair and followed her to the main display. The rest of the crew was already there, half interested, half bored. Salvage work trains that into you. 90% of it is junk. The other 10% gets you killed if you're not careful. What am I looking at? I asked. Emily tapped the screen. A ship rotated slowly in the projection, long, angular, wrong in ways I couldn't quite define. No visible insignia, no registry markings, no obvious propulsion system. Drift pattern doesn't match anything local, she said. No distress beacon, no power signature. It's just there. Dead metal, someone in the back said. Maybe, Emily replied. But the hull composition? I've never seen anything like it. I leaned in closer. That's when the watch moved. Just a flicker. A twitch so small I almost convinced myself I imagined it. I looked down at my wrist. 3:17, same as always. Except the second hand, frozen for years, had shifted forward by a fraction. I stared at it. Then it snapped back. Hale? Emily's voice cut through. You good? Yeah, I said a little too fast. Yeah, I'm good. I didn't take my eyes off the display. Prep a boarding team, I added. We're taking a look. The ship didn't have a docking port. Not one we could recognize, anyway. We had to cut our way in. The hull resisted at first, like it didn't want to be opened. Tools sparked, blades dulled faster than they should have. It wasn't thick, it just didn't behave like metal. Tell me again why we don't leave creepy unknown ships alone, one of the crew muttered. Because creepy unknown ships sometimes pay our fuel bill, I said. The airlock finally gave with a low, hollow sound that echoed longer than it should have. Inside, it was cold. Not vacuum cold. Something else. Controlled. Preserved. Our lights cut through the darkness in narrow beams. The interior wasn't damaged. No signs of impact. No decompression scars. No fire. Just still. Power readings? I asked. Emily checked her scanner. Minimal, but stable. Something's running in here. Life support. No, she said slowly. Not exactly. We moved deeper. Corridors curved at odd angles. Too smooth, too seamless. No exposed wiring. No panels. Just surfaces that looked grown rather than built. The deeper we went, the quieter it got. Even our footsteps felt muted, like the ship was absorbing the sound. Captain, someone whispered behind me. You feel that? Yeah, I said. I didn't elaborate, because I didn't have words for it. We found it at the center. A chamber, circular, tall, surrounded by structures that pulsed faintly with a soft blue glow. The air felt heavier here, charged. And in the middle, the pod. It stood upright, encased in translucent material layered with frost. Thin streams of vapor curled off its surface, drifting slowly upward like smoke in reverse. Emily stepped forward before anyone could stop her. Oh my God! I didn't need her to say anything else. I saw it. Her. Inside the pod. A woman. Suspended in blue light, motionless, perfect in a way that didn't feel natural. Her skin was pale silver, almost glowing under the frost. Fine ridges traced from her temples down along her jaw, like someone had carved her out of something that didn't belong to this universe. She didn't look dead. She looked paused. Vitals. I asked quietly. Emily's hands moved fast over her scanner. There's something. I don't understand it, but is she alive? A pause. Then, yes. The word hung in the air. Behind me, no one spoke. No one moved. We'd come here looking for scrap. Instead, we found something that had been waiting longer than any of us had been alive. I stepped closer to the glass. For a moment, I forgot about the crew, the ship, the job. It was just me and her, frozen in time. I glanced down at my wrist. 3:17. The second hand twitched again. And this time, it didn't snap back. It held. I looked up, and for the first time since the war, something felt familiar. Not safe. Not good. Just inevitable. We're not touching it. I said it before anyone else could. Emily didn't look away from the pod. She's alive, Lucas. I heard you. Then you understand what this is. Yeah, I said. A problem. She finally turned to me. Or the most important discovery in human history. Those are usually the same thing. Silence settled over the chamber again, thick and uncomfortable. I stepped closer to the pod, close enough to see the frost patterns along the surface. They weren't random. They formed thin, branching lines, almost like circuitry, or veins. What's keeping her alive? I asked. Emily moved beside me, scanning again. Some kind of suspended metabolic state. Not cryo like we use. This is cleaner, more precise. It's like her body never stopped. It just slowed. For how long? She hesitated, then glanced at the pod surface. A faint display flickered there, barely visible under the frost. I wiped a section clear with my glove. Numbers appeared. Not in any system I recognized at first, but the translation software kicked in, grinding for a second before aligning it with standard time. Emily exhaled slowly. Lucas, I see it. 1,247 years. No power signature strong enough to support that. No maintenance systems we could detect. And yet, she was still alive. Seal the chamber, I said. No one touches anything until we figure out what we're dealing with. You're not serious, one of the crew said. You're just gonna leave her in there? Yes. Emily stepped in front of me. No, we don't walk away from this. We don't wake things we don't understand. We never understand anything until we do. That logic gets people killed. She held my gaze. So does hesitation. I didn't answer right away, because she wasn't wrong. She was rarely wrong. That was the problem. I looked back at the woman in the pod. Still, silent, unaware of anything that had happened while she slept. 1,000 years of nothing. And then, us. I exhaled. Prep a controlled thaw, I said. Emily didn't smile. She just nodded and got to work. It took 6 hours. 6 slow, careful hours of rerouting power, isolating systems, and praying we didn't trigger something we couldn't stop. I stayed the whole time. Didn't sit. Didn't eat. Didn't leave. The others rotated in and out. Curiosity fades fast when nothing explodes. But I stayed. Watched the frost melt in thin, uneven lines. Watched the blue light dim, then shift, then pulse differently. Watched her. At some point, Emily joined me again. You don't have to hover, she said quietly. I know, but you're going to anyway. Yeah. She leaned against the console, arms folded. You feel it too, don't you? I didn't look at her. Feel what? That this isn't random. I glanced down at my wrist. The watch read 3:18 now. It hadn't done that in years. It's never random, I said. The pod hissed. A low, controlled release of pressure. Vitals stabilizing. Emily said, focused. Neurological activity increasing. She's. The glass cleared completely. For the first time, there was nothing between us. No frost. No distortion. Just her. Her chest rose slightly. Then again. Slow. Controlled. Alive. Come on. Emily whispered. Come on. The woman's fingers twitched. Small movement. Barely there. But real. Then, her eyes opened. Amber. Not glowing. Not unnatural. Just deep. Ancient. And immediately focused. Not confused. Not disoriented. Focused. On me. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Neither did she. For a few seconds, the entire world narrowed down to that one moment. Then her lips parted. A sound came out. Soft. Broken. Not a language I knew. Emily's system kicked in, translating in real time. But it lagged, struggling to process whatever structure it was built on. The woman tried again. Slower this time. Clearer. The system caught up. How long? Her voice sounded like something that hadn't been used in a very long time. I stepped forward slightly. Over 1,000 years, I said. No point lying. Her expression didn't change much, but something in her eyes shifted. Not shock, not panic, something quieter, heavier. She closed her eyes for a brief second. A single tear slid down her temple into her hair. Then she opened them again. Steadier now. My name, she said, the translator catching up smoother this time, is Naira. I nodded once. Lucas. I didn't add rank. Didn't add anything else. She didn't ask. Instead, her gaze moved, slow, deliberate, taking in the room, the crew, the unfamiliar technology. Then it stopped. On my wrist. The object, she said. I frowned. What? She lifted a hand slightly, weak but controlled. Pointed. At my watch. That is incorrect. Emily glanced at me. What does that mean? I don't know, I said. Naira's eyes stayed locked on the watch. It should not be here, she continued. It stopped at the wrong moment. A cold line ran down my spine. I looked down. 3:18. The second hand ticked forward. 3:19. I hadn't heard it move. I looked back at her. How do you know that? I asked. She didn't answer immediately, just studied me, like she was trying to decide something. Then, because, she said quietly, that moment is not finished. The comm unit crackled, loud enough to break whatever that moment was. Hail, respond. Command. Of course. Right on time. I tapped the receiver without looking away from Naira. Go. We've received your transmission. Confirming contact with unidentified life form. Confirmed. A pause. Then, prepare for immediate transfer. The subject is to be delivered to Earth for containment and study. I almost laughed. Almost. Negative, I said. Emily snapped her head toward me. The line went silent for half a second. Then, repeat that, Hale. Subject is unstable, I said calmly. Unknown physiology. Unknown risk factors. We're not moving her until we understand what we're dealing with. That is not your decision. It is when she's on my ship. Another pause. Longer this time. Then colder. You're out of line, pilot. Wouldn't be the first time. I cut the comm. Emily stared at me. You just ignored a direct order. Yeah. You planning to explain that later? No. She exhaled slowly. This is going to get ugly. I nodded once. It always does. Behind us, Naira shifted slightly, still weak, but more aware now. Her eyes moved between us. Listening, learning, and somehow, understanding more than she should. I looked at her again. At the way she watched everything without reacting the way a normal person would. At the way she had recognized the watch. At the way she said that moment wasn't finished. And for the first time since we opened that pod, I realized something. We didn't wake her up. We stepped into something that had already started. Naira didn't ask for permission. She just stood up. Slow at first. Controlled. Like someone testing gravity instead of trusting it. The medical supports hadn't fully disengaged, but she ignored them, stepping out of the pod like it had never been a prison. Emily moved immediately. Careful, your muscles. I am functional, Naira said. Not defensive, just factual. Her balance wavered for half a second, then corrected. I watched her closely, not because I thought she'd fall, because I was trying to understand how someone who had been frozen for over 1,000 years could move like she'd only been asleep for a night. She took a few steps forward, barefoot on cold metal. No hesitation, no fear. Her gaze drifted across the room again, every surface, every face, every flicker of light. Cataloging. Your systems are inefficient, she said. Emily blinked. Excuse me. Naira turned toward a nearby console, brushing her fingers across its surface like she was reading it. This environment wastes energy through redundant thermal cycling, she continued. 17% loss. Possibly more under strain. I leaned against the wall. You've been awake for 10 minutes. I have been observing for longer. Emily glanced at me. She's serious. Yeah, I said. I can tell. Naira moved again, this time toward the maintenance panel near the chamber wall. She crouched, smooth, precise, and removed it without asking. Hey, one of the crew started. You can't just. Let her, I said. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He wasn't wrong, but I didn't stop her. Inside the panel, a cluster of wiring and flow regulators pulsed faintly. Naira studied it for a few seconds, then reached in. Her fingers moved with exact purpose, adjusting connections, rerouting something I didn't understand. Lucas, Emily whispered, stepping closer to me. Should we really be letting her? She hasn't broken anything yet. That's not comforting. A soft hum filled the chamber, lower than before, smoother. Naira pulled her hand back and replaced the panel. Correction complete, she said. Emily rushed to the console, checking the readings. Her eyes widened. Efficiency increased by 12%, she muttered. That's how did you? Naira didn't answer. She was looking at me again, at my wrist. I sighed. You're really not going to let that go, are you? It is not an object of curiosity, she said. It is a marker. Of what? She stepped closer, closer than before, close enough that I could see the faint patterns in her eyes, subtle, shifting, like something beneath the surface was moving. Of a fracture, she said. I frowned. You're going to have to explain that in a way that doesn't sound insane. She tilted her head slightly. You experienced an event, she said. A moment that did not resolve correctly. Emily crossed her arms. That's not how time works. Naira glanced at her briefly. It is, if it breaks. Silence. I looked down at the watch again. 3:19. The second hand moved. 3:20. Steady now. Regular. Like it had always worked that way. What does that mean? I asked. Naira's expression didn't change. It means, she said quietly, you are still inside it. The ship felt different after that. Not physically, not in any way you could measure. But the crew noticed. They stopped talking as much when she entered a room. Stopped asking questions they didn't want answers to. Naira didn't seem to care. She moved through the Wayfarer like she'd been there longer than any of us. Learning fast. Too fast. Within hours, she'd mapped the basic layout. Within a day, she'd accessed systems we didn't even know we still had. Within 2, she was fixing things. Not loudly, not for attention, just quietly improving everything. Power flow stabilized. Life support efficiency increased. Even the recycler stopped making that grinding noise it had for years. 17% loss, she said once, almost to herself. I remembered that. Didn't ask how she knew. Didn't ask how she knew anything anymore. I found her in engineering at 2:30. Of course she was there, kneeling beside an open panel, half the internal system exposed, tools scattered around her like she'd always used them. You sleep? I asked. She didn't look up. I have had sufficient rest. Yeah, 1,000 years worth. That was not rest, she said. That was suspension. I leaned against the doorway. Same difference. No, she said calmly. It is not. I watched her work for a moment. The way her hands moved. No hesitation. No trial and error. Just certainty. How do you know how to do all this? I asked. She paused. Just for a second. Then, I was trained, she said. For what? She finally looked at me. For survival. That answer didn't feel complete. But I didn't push. Instead, I glanced at the system she was working on. What's wrong with it? It functions, she said. But inefficiently. Everything on this ship functions inefficiently. That is why it is failing. I smirked slightly. You're not wrong. She returned to her work. Silence stretched between us. Not uncomfortable. Just there. After a while, I spoke again. You said something earlier, I said. About civilizations not falling because of war. She didn't respond immediately. Just tightened something, adjusted a connector, then sealed part of the panel. Then, war is a symptom, she said. Not a cause. Of what? Instability. I crossed my arms. That's a broad answer. It is an accurate one. I exhaled slowly. Try again. She stood, wiping her hands on a cloth she'd found somewhere. Then faced me fully. Civilizations end when they lose the ability to adapt, she said. When they become rigid. Predictable. Easy to track. Track. Her gaze flicked to my wrist again. Everything leaves a pattern, she said. Time is no different. A faint chill ran through me. And something follows those patterns? I asked. Yes. I held her gaze. And your people? A pause. Then, they were found. The way she said it. Flat. Final. Like it wasn't a story. It was a conclusion. I pushed off the wall slightly. By what? Naira didn't answer. Not right away. Instead, she stepped closer. Close enough again that I could feel that same quiet pressure in the air. Then she spoke. Soft. Controlled. They will find this one too. The lights flickered. Just for a second. Barely noticeable. But enough. I looked up instinctively. Then back at her. What do you mean? I asked. Her eyes didn't leave mine. Your watch, she said. It has already begun signaling. My stomach tightened. That's not possible. It is already happening. I glanced down. 3:21. The second hand ticked. Loud this time. Too loud. Like it wanted to be heard. I looked back at her. Signaling to who? Naira didn't hesitate. Her voice didn't shake. Nothing about her changed. Except something deeper behind her eyes. They are not gone, she said. And now, a pause. Small, but deliberate. They know where we are. The first part of our story ends here, leaving Lucas Hale at a crossroads where every choice could be his last, with a broken watch that has started ticking again, and an alien woman who claims that this moment was never meant to end. What do you think will happen to him in part 2? Share your wildest theories in the comments. I read every single one. To make sure you don't miss the epic continuation, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And while the next chapter is in the works, the mysteries of the universe continue in the videos that have just appeared on your screen. See you in the next one.